The world stood at a crossroads after the devastation of World War II. From the ashes of conflict arose a new global struggle, the Cold War. This was not a war of tanks and trenches. It was a war of ideology, a clash between two superpowers, the capitalist United States and the communist Soviet Union. The Soviet Union installed communist regimes across Eastern Europe. These satellite states became a stark contrast to the democracies of Western Europe. The United States pledged its support to Western Europe through economic aid and military alliances. The threat of nuclear annihilation loomed large, casting a chilling shadow over the globe. Nowhere was this division more tangible, more symbolic than in the heart of Europe, Berlin. Berlin, the once proud capital of Germany, lay in ruins after World War II, divided into four sectors controlled by the victorious Allied powers: the United States, Great Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Berlin became a microcosm of the broader Cold War division. As tensions between the East and West escalated, so too did the situation in Berlin. The city, an island of Western freedom within communist East Germany, became a magnet for East Germans seeking to escape Soviet control. The exodus of skilled workers and intellectuals westward alarmed East German authorities. In the dead of night, on August 13, 1961, East German troops began sealing off the border between East and West Berlin. Barbed wire fences soon gave way to a more permanent and imposing barrier, the Berlin Wall. This concrete edifice, heavily guarded and stretching for miles, became the ultimate symbol of Cold War division. Overnight, families and friends were separated, their lives torn apart by this brutal act of division. For nearly 3 decades, the Berlin Wall stood as a stark symbol of oppression and division. Life in the shadow of the wall was a study in contrasts. In West Berlin, protected by American, British and French forces, life went on. Democracy flourished, the economy thrived, and Western culture permeated every aspect of life. East Berlin, however, became a city under siege. Its residents, living under the watchful eyes of the Stasi, East Germany's notorious secret police. Freedom of speech, assembly and movement was severely curtailed. For those trapped in the East, the West shimmered just out of reach, a tantalizing beacon of freedom and opportunity. Many risked their lives attempting to escape, scaling the wall, tunneling under it, or making daring dashes across the heavily guarded border. The human cost of this division was tragically high, with countless lives lost or shattered in pursuit of freedom. The Berlin Wall became a canvas for protest and defiance, with graffiti artists transforming it into a symbol of hope and resistance. Section 4. Winds of Change, Gorbachev's Reforms. The year 1985 marked a turning point in the Cold War. In the Soviet Union, a new leader, Mikhail Gorbachev, assumed power. Gorbachev, aware of the economic stagnation and social discontent within his country, embarked on a series of reforms. Gorbachev's reforms rested on 2 pillars, glasnost and perestroika. Glasnost aimed to increase transparency and freedom of expression within Soviet society. Perestroika sought to revitalize the stagnant Soviet economy by introducing elements of market liberalization. Gorbachev's reforms, while intended to strengthen the Soviet Union, ultimately had the opposite effect. Across Eastern Europe, Gorbachev's reforms emboldened those who yearned for change. The winds of change were sweeping across Eastern Europe, and the Berlin Wall, once an unyielding symbol of Soviet power, began to crumble. Section 5. A Night of Jubilation, the Fall of the Berlin Wall. As the summer of 1989 drew to a close, the situation in East Germany grew increasingly precarious. The country was in the throes of an economic crisis, and thousands of East Germans were fleeing to the West. Protests erupted in cities across East Germany, demanding democratic reforms and an end to communist rule. On November 9, 1989, amidst the chaos and confusion, the unthinkable happened. Günter Schabowski, the East German Communist Party's spokesman, announced at a press conference that East Germans would be allowed to cross into West Berlin, effective immediately. Within hours, thousands of East Berliners descended upon the Berlin Wall, demanding passage to the west. Overwhelmed by the sheer number of people, the border guards relented. The gates swung open and a tidal wave of humanity surged across the border, tears of joy streaming down their faces. The world watched in amazement as this potent symbol of Cold War division crumbled before their eyes. Section 6. Rebuilding a Nation, German Reunification. The fall of the Berlin Wall set in motion a chain of events that would culminate in the reunification of Germany. Within months of the wall's collapse, East Germany's communist government had fallen, and free elections were held. On October 3, 1990, less than a year after the fall of the Berlin Wall, East and West Germany were formally reunified. The celebrations that marked this historic occasion were a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring power of hope. The economic disparities between East and West Germany were significant, and bridging this gap proved to be a daunting task. However, the German people, with the support of the international community, embarked on the long and arduous process of rebuilding their nation. Section 7. A Legacy of Freedom. The End of an Era. The fall of the Berlin Wall and the subsequent reunification of Germany marked the beginning of the end of the Cold War. The Soviet Union, weakened by internal strife and economic woes, dissolved on December 26, 1991. The Berlin Wall, once a symbol of oppression and division, has become a powerful reminder of the human cost of tyranny and the transformative power of freedom. Today, the remnants of the wall stand as memorials, a testament to the enduring human spirit and the triumph of hope over despair. The fall of the Berlin Wall teaches us that even the most seemingly insurmountable barriers can be overcome. The legacy of the Berlin Wall continues to inspire people around the globe who strive for freedom, democracy, and an end to oppression in all its forms.